Significant severe weather is on the way as a system is coming through into the United States, bringing significant lines of storms in parts of the Plains and Ohio Valley. I'm going to be talking about what you need to know about the severe weather potentials over the next few days. So let's get you right into the forecast. It is Monday, June 1st, 2026, and let's start off with our day one outlook for today. So you can see here, this is for today. The Storm Prediction Center has a very large area to be watching for severe weather today, going from the Ohio Valley all the way up into parts of the northern plains. There's a level 1 out of 5 marginal risk, which is that green. Then we have two level 2 out of 5 slight risks, which are these yellow. You can see that these are level 2 out of 5 slight risk. Memphis, you guys need to be staying prepared today. Nashville, then up here into western Kansas, up to parts of southwestern South Dakota. There's also a slight risk over there today. Mainly looking at a chance for some damaging winds and hail, but an isolated tornado can't be ruled out initially when the storms develop out here. In parts of northeastern Colorado, northwestern Kansas, and kind of the western Nebraska areas, you guys do have potential maybe for an isolated brief spin-up tornado. It will likely not be strong as the environment out here is not very primed for tornadoes. However, it is primed though for some damaging winds and stuff and some hail. But tornadoes is not going to be a big concern today. Now also I'm watching another little area of potential tornadoes that we could be seeing mainly out here in parts of northeastern Arkansas. I'm also going to be watching this area for maybe an isolated brief tornado threat. So we're also going to be watching that. But our main threats for today will be some damaging winds. The Storm Prediction Center actually have a 30% wind risk outlined out here in parts of northern Mississippi and southwestern Tennessee, kind of these areas, northeastern Arkansas, northwestern Alabama. You guys need to be staying prepared and you guys need to be watching this very closely, as I do think that we could be seeing winds up to 75 miles per hour. Potentially even more out there. So Memphis, definitely be prepared out there. Then we got another area up here. I think winds could be up to 80 miles per hour out here. So wind shear is going to be pretty crazy. Hail threat back here is not going to be too crazy. I think we might have more of an elevated hail threat though within these areas. So definitely, if you're out here, be prepared for maybe some hail. Atlanta, Jackson, you guys need to be staying prepared. We're looking at a chance for some very large hail potentially out here in parts of the plains. With this, you see those dashed lines, that's a tornado, that's a hail conditional intensity group 1 risk, which means we could be seeing hen egg size plus size hail. So definitely be aware out there. Make sure to be protecting your vehicles so it does not get damaged by hail. This is the day 2 outlook for Tuesday, June 2nd. So you can see that the Storm Prediction Center has another slight risk outlined up here in parts of North Dakota and South Dakota. And then there's a marginal risk going around all the way down to the Texas Panhandle. There's also a marginal risk down here in parts of the southeast where we can't rule out some severe weather tomorrow. I do think that tornadoes will be a potential, especially up here in parts of North Dakota and South Dakota. If you're in Rapid City, Bismarck, in those areas tomorrow, Minot, tomorrow on Tuesday, definitely make sure you're staying prepared for maybe an isolated tornado. I think if one of those storms really mature, I think we could see maybe a potential for a more elevated tornado risk and potentially even an EF2 plus strong tornado. Also looking at potential for some damaging winds tomorrow. The main concern for damaging winds will be out here in parts of the Dakotas. This is a 15% wind risk outlined, but we can't rule out some damaging winds out here in the parts of the southeast tomorrow, especially around Jacksonville, Florida, and kind of those areas. So definitely be aware down there for some damaging winds as well. We're also looking at a chance for some hail, as you can see here tomorrow. I do think we could be seeing up to hen egg size hail potentially tomorrow, especially within these dashed lines. So definitely protect your vehicles and everything like that, and strap your car. And strap down unsecured objects so they don't fly away. And down here in the southeast, we're mainly looking at a chance for some damaging winds. Then for Wednesday, we'll have another severe weather threat. This is Wednesday's outlook, kind of in the same area. There's a slight risk outlined from parts of northwestern Minnesota down to parts of South Dakota and eastern North Dakota. So Wednesday out here, you guys need to be prepared. And then Thursday, we'll have another severe weather threat, as the Storm Prediction Center has issued a 15% any severe risk probability for western Nebraska, parts of western South Dakota, southeastern Montana, and northeastern Wyoming. So we're looking at another potential for severe weather on Thursday. So this is also going to be something to be watching. Rapid City, you guys are included in this, and Pierre, you guys are also included in this. So we're going to start with today's future radar. You can see we're going to have the storm system move through. It's going to be kind of messy, and it's going to push through those areas, potentially producing a chance for some damaging winds and hail. We're also going to look maybe at a chance for maybe an isolated tornado and some small hail. We're also going to have some storms develop out here in northeastern Arkansas, I think these storms could be pretty significant in northern Mississippi as well. So we're going to watch those storms as well. So that's kind of what the future radar could look like out here today. It's what it could look like at 6 p.m. Eastern tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Eastern, and 10 p.m. Eastern. You can see the time right towards the bottom of your screen right here. So that's kind of what the future radar is looking like. Then the storms will kind of weaken as we get into the early morning hours of tomorrow on Tuesday. Our significant tornado parameter is nothing crazy today. As you can see, we don't have that crazy of significant tornado parameter. I think we're mainly looking at chance for some damaging winds and hail out here, but I don't think we can rule out maybe an isolated tornado today out here. So we're going to watch that as well. And another reason why I think that we could be seeing some pretty significant damaging winds out here is because we have a very primed environment with a lot of CAPE out there, with potentially 4,000 joules per kilogram. And then back up here into parts of the plains, we're also going to have some storms push through out here. Initially, that's when, right when the storms develop, I think that's going to be when we're going to be seeing our tornado threat. We're not looking at a big chance for any strong tornadoes today, but mainly just some brief, weak tornadoes. And our main concern will be damaging winds, potentially in excess up to 80 miles per hour. So that's going to be something that we got to be watching very closely. So if you're out here in western Nebraska, western Kansas today, please make sure you're having a way to get alerts. Make sure you're strapping down unscrewed objects so they don't fly away. See here, we don't have crazy amounts of significant tornado parameters, so not really expecting anything too crazy with tornadoes, but we do have a chance for some damaging winds and hail. And CAPE there's kind of low levels of CAPE out there today, but we do have a decent amount of wind shear when those storms develop, so that's why we got to be watching for a significant line of storms today out here. And then for tomorrow on Tuesday, we're going to have another system push through, and that's going to be causing severe weather in parts of the Dakotas. As you can see right here, we're going to have some storms push through out here in parts of North Dakota. So what we could look at 3 p.m. tomorrow. So this is tomorrow's future radar. You can see we're going to have some storms push through out there in extreme northern North Dakota, so you guys be aware for that. And in western South Dakota, I guess we'll get some storms out there tomorrow. So what it could look like at 11 p.m. Eastern tomorrow out there. I do think if we get some of those storms to develop like as supercells and really mature, I don't think we can rule out a strong tornado, but mainly looking at some damaging winds and hail. If you switch over to significant tornado parameter, you can see that it does get to pretty decent levels in some areas out there, just not crazy levels. That's why I think out here in western South Dakota tomorrow we got to be watching for maybe a potential for a strong tornado. So it's definitely something that we got to be watching. And switching back over to CAPE, which is basically storm fuel. You can see we don't have a crazy amount out there tomorrow, but there's definitely still some storm fuel. You can see down here in the southeast tomorrow we'll also have a chance for some damaging winds and hail. So definitely you guys out there in parts of the Florida Panhandle, parts of southern Georgia, and then down into the Florida Peninsula, definitely be aware for potential severe weather tomorrow. There's going to be a lot of rain out there, which is really going to help relieve some of the leftover drought that has been there for a while. So switching over the Rufus A model, this model is sometimes over convex and stuff, but this is what Wednesday could be looking like out here in parts of the Dakotas. We're going to have some lines of storms push through. This could be a pretty significant line of storms that we're going to be watching, so definitely be prepared out there. If you're in parts of the Dakotas on Wednesday, as there's going to be a pretty significant line of storms push through there from parts of the afternoon into the evening and into the overnight hours. And into the early morning hours of Thursday, those storms should start weakening out. And then on Thursday, that's when we're going to start seeing the storms out there in parts of the plains, which we have that 15% any severe risk outlined out there. You can see here that this is kind of just the GFS model. It doesn't show like the most detailed type of stuff, but you can see we're going to have some storms out there. That's going to be the area that we're watching. You guys have some storms develop out there and everything like that. So definitely got to be watching Thursday very closely. And then that storm system with that low pressure system should start moving into parts of the Midwest and then into parts of the Ohio Valley. I'm watching the Ohio Valley on Sunday, June 7th, as it looks like we might have a severe weather potential out there. So that's also going to be something that we got to be watching very closely. Our system that comes out of the parts of off the coast of the southeast, that's not going to produce a tropical storm, I don't think. It could start to spin up a little bit. If it does produce something, I think it might just be a tropical depression, but we're not looking at anything crazy off of the southeast coast of the United States. And we're not looking at any type of hurricanes over the next 7 days. So that's some good news, but I'll keep you guys updated. And then switching over to the temperature anomaly, there's some decently warm temperatures out there, but we're going to have cooler temperatures out there in parts of the northeastern United States and parts of the Ohio Valley. Those cooler temperatures are going to take over, and then we're going to see warmer temperatures start to come in here. So we're going to have warmer temperatures on the way, and still parts of the northeast, it's going to start to cool down again. Potentially, this is pretty far out, but around June 13th in the northeast, I am watching for some cooler temperatures to come through. So definitely got to be watching that. And then it could move into parts of the eastern coast and parts of the Ohio Valley, but then it should start warming up before that happens. So yeah, it's kind of what temperatures are looking like right now. So yeah, and out here in the plains today, it's going to be very nice. Some decently warm temperatures out there. And that's pretty much all I got for you in today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Stay tuned as there's a very low potential I'll be live today. And I will see you in the next one. Have a wonderful day.